What happens when two of wrestling's most controversial superstars collide in an absolutely brutal encounter? Stick around because we're breaking down the moment Brock Lesnar absolutely dismantled CM Punk in a matchup that left the entire arena speechless. This is not the story you expected to hear. Welcome back to WWE Sphere. Yo, what's going on, wrestling fans? If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we break down the biggest WWE moments, the most shocking twists, and the incredible athleticism that makes this industry absolutely legendary. Today, we're diving into one of the most shocking encounters between two polarizing figures in professional wrestling history. On one side, you've got Brock Lesnar, the Beast incarnate, a former UFC champion, a powerhouse who literally rewrites the physics of what a human body can do in a wrestling ring. This man is 280 pounds of pure muscle and intensity. On the other side, you've got CM Punk, a provocateur, a master of psychology, a man who thrives on controversy and isn't afraid to speak his mind. Punk is a cerebral striker, a technical wizard who's defeated legends through cunning and precision. So when these two titans stepped into the ring together, everyone wondered, who would dominate? Would Punk's mind games work? Would Brock's raw power be too much? Well, let me tell you, the answer shocked everyone. Before we get to the main event destruction, we need to understand why this match even mattered so much. Both of these wrestlers carry massive heat with the WWE Universe for completely different reasons. Brock Lesnar represents corporate dominance. He's the megastar who shows up when he wants, who steamrolls through opponents, and who's held championship gold like it's his personal property. Lesnar's wrestled with an aura of invincibility for years. When he enters the ring, you expect devastation. CM Punk, on the other hand, represented something totally different. He's the voice of the voiceless, the man who's called out WWE's establishment, spoken his truth, and walked away from the business multiple times. Punk's return to WWE was massive. It symbolized redemption, second chances, and the idea that even controversial figures can find their way home. When these two were set to collide, it wasn't just about wrestling ability. It was about philosophies colliding. It was about the establishment versus the revolutionary. It was about who would get the final word in their ongoing narrative. The hype was absolutely real. Fans were divided. Some believed Punk's technical superiority and psychological edge would overcome the Beast's raw power. Others insisted that Lesnar's pure physicality would be impossible to overcome. Wrestling forums exploded with debate. Social media couldn't stop talking about it. This wasn't just another match, it felt personal. It felt important. And that's what made the outcome so incredibly shocking. When the bell rang, everyone leaned forward. The energy in the arena was absolutely electric. The opening minutes saw Punk try to establish his technical prowess. He threw strikes. He attempted submissions. He tried to create distance and fight on his terms. And for maybe the first 30 seconds, Punk looked competitive. You could see the strategy: frustrate Lesnar, make him chase, make him miss. But then it happened. Brock switched gears. And when Lesnar decides to stop playing around, it's genuinely terrifying to watch. The Beast dropped his shoulders, started working the mat with his signature suplexes, and began systematically breaking down Punk's offense. This wasn't a wrestling match anymore, it was a demonstration of physical superiority. Lesnar threw Punk around like he weighed nothing. German suplex after German suplex. The precision was incredible. Lesnar controls every aspect, every angle, every bit of momentum. Punk's desperate attempts to escape were futile. Every time he tried to create space, Lesnar pulled him right back, grabbed him around the waist, and threw him again. The crowd's reaction shifted from excitement to genuine shock. This wasn't competitive. This wasn't a back-and-forth encounter. This was domination. Pure, unadulterated domination. And here's what made it even more devastating: Punk kept trying. The man's heart is undeniable. He refused to stay down, refused to tap out, refused to give Lesnar the satisfaction of an easy victory. But his defiance only made the beatdown more apparent. Every time Punk tried to mount a comeback, every time he threw a punch or attempted an escape, Lesnar countered with absolute authority. Then came the signature finishing sequence. Lesnar set up for his most devastating move, the F5. When you see Lesnar set up for this, you know someone's about to be launched into the stratosphere. Punk struggled, fought, tried to avoid it, but there's nowhere to go. The F5 connected with devastating impact. Punk went flying. And when he hit the mat, the arena went almost quiet. Not because they were disappointed, but because they were in disbelief. This was supposed to be competitive. This wasn't supposed to happen like this. The referee counted. 1, 2, 3. It was over. The reaction from the WWE universe was absolutely fascinating. Because this wasn't a controversial finish or a controversial decision, this was just one athlete absolutely outperforming another on the biggest stage. Social media exploded with three main reactions. First, there was the pure shock factor. Fans who expected a competitive encounter couldn't believe how one-sided it became. The dominant display of athleticism and strength left people struggling to process what they'd seen. Second, there was respect, not just for the victory, but for both competitors. Lesnar proved once again why he's considered a generational athlete. Punk proved why he's so respected, because despite being completely outmatched in this particular encounter, he never stopped fighting. His refusal to surrender, even facing impossible odds, demonstrated the mental toughness that's defined his career. And third, there was the narrative shift. Everyone suddenly understood where this storyline was heading. Lesnar had decisively established himself as the top threat. Punk had to regroup, had to reconsider his strategy. This wasn't an ending, it was a turning point in a much larger story. Wrestling analysts broke down the technical execution. The precision of Lesnar's suplexes, the positioning, the control, it was a masterclass in physical grappling. Punk's offense was crisp and clean, but it was simply insufficient against someone operating at Lesnar's power level. So what does this dominant performance mean for the future of these two superstars? For Brock Lesnar, it's a statement. It's a reminder to everyone in the locker room that he's still dangerous, still dominant, still a main event threat. This victory gives him momentum heading into whatever's next. It validates his return to prominence. It reminds us why he's always been considered one of the most physically impressive athletes WWE has ever signed. For CM Punk, this is a moment of reckoning. But here's the thing about Punk, he's never stayed down. He's built his entire career on comebacks. This loss might be the catalyst for something even bigger. Maybe it triggers a character evolution. Maybe it sets up a rematch where he's learned something new. Or maybe it forces him to reconsider his entire approach to competition. That's what makes wrestling so compelling. Losses matter. Defeats have consequences. And sometimes the most interesting stories come from fighters who've been knocked down and have to figure out how to get back up. This encounter will be remembered as a turning point. A moment where the narrative shifted, where expectations were shattered, and where two of wrestling's biggest personalities had their place in the hierarchy firmly established. Visual cue. Both wrestlers' future highlight reels, championship graphics, speculation visuals. Alright wrestling fans, that's the breakdown of one of the most shocking wrestling encounters we've seen. Brock Lesnar absolutely dismantled CM Punk and left the entire wrestling world in disbelief. What did you think about this match? Are you Team Lesnar? Team Punk? Let me know in the comment section below. I read every single comment and I want to know what you thought about this dominant performance. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please hit that like button and subscribe to WWE Sphere for more deep dives into professional wrestling's biggest moments, most shocking twists, and incredible athleticism. Check out our other videos on the channel where we break down championship moments, analyze wrestling psychology, and celebrate the incredible artistry of sports entertainment. Thanks so much for watching, wrestling fans. Keep it locked to WWE Sphere, and I'll see you in the next video.